Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Football MBAs. I am one of your trifecta hosts, T. Campbell Online, also known as Terrence Campbell, or I guess Terrence Campbell, known as T. Campbell Online. But I got my other co-host with me this week. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. I got Eric Jackson here, EJ. Looking forward to first week of football. It's been far too long, so I'm just
Absolutely.
really looking forward to tomorrow and watching this game.
Yes, sir.
All right, and I'm Steve, aka the Dark Knights, because right now I'm having some issues right now with my webcam, so y'all won't be able to see me. I know y'all were ready for this moment, but I may make my debut next week.
So Steve is playing the part of the masked singer here today, uh,
The
with the all black screen. You know what I'm saying? All black everything. All right. So if you guys have you know took a listen to our podcast, what we're doing, we're kind of mixing things up this week for the start of the NFL season. We're gonna do a little video for you guys, and what we're gonna do is break down your starters and who you're gonna start, who you're gonna sit for week one of the upcoming NFL season. So we're going to break down each game and let you know kind of what we think. Obviously, as an NFL fantasy owner, you guys have a lot of questions, and we're going to try to give you guys answers on this upcoming week schedule. So I'll start things off. First game that I'm going to break down is the Seattle Seahawks versus the Atlanta Falcons.
Well, yo,
Obviously,
let's go with the Thursday game. Let's all like
oh, that's right.
Thursday.
See,
Absolutely.
now see,
Yeah.
normally I would have started with Thursday again. See, I got to get into the groove. I got to get into the groove. So new
Hey, we
season,
ain't have no preseason, man.
right? Exactly. I'm
Absolutely.
throwing all off. I'm throwing all off. So yeah, let's get into the first game of the season, the new season. So we got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the I was about to say New Orleans, the Houston Texans.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. What do you guys think? Starters and sit. Where you gonna go?
Well, you know what? First things first. I think we all know that we're gonna start Patrick Mahomes
Of
and we're gonna
course.
start Deshaun Watson. So, I think those two are automatic. I think the real question is really on these skill positions, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he is a rookie. Um, we don't know exactly what to expect yet. He was very dynamic in college, and we know that Andy Reid does tend to. He's not afraid to play his rookies. Remember,
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Kareem Hunt led the league in rushing in his rookie season.
Hmm.
So I think that he's a go,
Hmm.
honestly. What do y'all think about any of these skill positions?
Well, for me, I'm a David Johnson owner, so he's definitely starting. And I expect him to do well. It looks like they're just gonna put him right into the mix of the offense he can actually catch out of the backfield. Um, Hopefully, he averts injury. He had a little slow year last year,
Mm-hmm.
in Arizona. So hopefully this year he has a bounce back with a different offense and a new team. Now it would have been nice, to have a real bona fide wide receiver threat on the outside to kind of spread the defense. But we'll see. I am definitely gonna, you know, until he proves otherwise, I'm definitely going DJ out there.
So you not calling Will Fuller a bona fide wide receiver?
He's an excellent bona fide wide receiver for about 6 or 7 games, and then he's going to get injured. And Brandon Cooks has already got a thigh
Yeah.
in training camp, so he
Yeah.
may not even be at full strength until week 2 or 3. I think they're going to put him out there, just for because Fuller's just not enough on it, by himself. But I don't think Brandon Cooks is at full. And I'm also Brandon Cooks owner in fantasy, so I'm not looking for them to rush him with this thigh thing because I do not want that to be a season long nagging injury. He's not a big guy; he's a small guy, and you need your thighs to play wide receiver.
You need to stop.
So you kind of need those. But yeah, I'm thinking we're going to get a heavy dose of David Johnson in
Okay.
this first game in these first couple of weeks. So I'm definitely going to start him.
Okay. What about you, EJ?
Yeah, I don't know. For me, other than the obvious starts, I guess the thing I'm most interested this week is like what other receivers on the Chiefs are gonna like be a factor and what that's gonna look like for the rest of the year.
Right.
I just for me, I definitely would take a chance on Edwards-Helaire, and I think David Johnson. I think he's gonna do fine, just because like their receivers are kind of up in the air. And when he's healthy, we know he can catch out the backfield.
Right.
I think for me this week, it's just about kind of like what their receivers are going to do and like where Mahomes is going to get the ball to. I think he's going to have a big game. So I'm just, really interested in seeing like who he's going to spread it around to. But
Right.
other than like Tyreek Hill and, Kelsey, I'm not really sure who else, I would start on that offense. But I think there's going to be another viable, number 2 this year. I'm just, trying to wait and see who that is.
Hopefully. Yeah, man. I don't want to take a chance on it. If you are in a position where you're starting like Sammy Watkins or Mecole Hardman or somebody like that in the first week, I don't know, man. Like you might be in trouble. I got Mecole Hardman in the last round. So
Right.
if you're starting the guy from the last round in your first week, you might be in trouble.
Absolutely.
Now, I will say that I would start Will Fuller because, to your point, Terrence, hey, you better start him while you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get your money. Get your money's
Right.
worth. You know what I mean?
Right.
So while he's still playing, I'm starting him because I do think he has a big game. I do think Kansas City puts a lot of points on the board, and I think the Texans have to play catch up. And I think we're going to see a lot of receptions to David Johnson. So if you have him in a PPR league, it's going to be a real nice day for you. And I could definitely see Will Fuller targeted a lot as well. So
when he plays and he's healthy, he's good. But
man, he's
a
good.
lot of wins. It's a lot of wins. All right. Anything else on the Thursday night game, Josh?
Nah, I think that's it.
All right. So as I previewed earlier, I want to talk about the Atlanta Falcons versus the Seattle Seahawks in this game. Obviously, your notables, you're starting those. I don't know if this would be somebody questionable, but I mean, some people still just don't like the guy for whatever reason. He just missed the consistency. Matt Ryan. If you have him, if you have him as a backup quarterback, or you were lucky enough to get one of the top tier quarterbacks, and for whatever reason you're not going to start them, this would be a good game to start Matt Ryan, but definitely not over one of the top tier quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So, but if you are in a league where something weird happened and everybody pulled the first couple of quarterbacks off the board and you got Matt Ryan as a potential iffy, I would start Matt Ryan. But I mean, I think it's a given. The guy I am interested in seeing though, that I'm actually not going to see this week, but moving forward is Josh Gordon in Seattle. See
really?
what owners eventually take a flyer and start him once he's fully. I think they're still reinstating him. He's been re-signed, but I think the NFL is like a couple of more meetings or something to fully reinstate him and get him out there on the field. But I'm not ready to do that.
Yeah, I'll let him be somebody else's problem.
Yeah, I'm not ready to do that. But
I'm off that.
Again, if for some reason you are on the fence about running back in Seattle, Chris Carson, start him.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would be, but stranger things have happened.
Well, he is recovering off that hip injury, but again,
he caught a hip. But I mean,
if you don't start him now, when you gonna start him?
Right. Well, the thing is, the Atlanta Falcons defense at the end of the season kind of was a tale of two teams as far as the defense went. At the second half of the season, defense was pretty decent. Had a nice little string of games there where they were like lights out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that kind of stuff doesn't carry over from year to year. Some pieces were lost. New people were brought in. Chris Carson should have a good game. The guy that if if I would think of somebody that you might be on a bubble, definitely DK Metcalf. I would start him
Okay.
as somebody that you might have set. I would
Yeah.
start DK against the Atlanta Falcons defense.
Okay. EJ, what you think?
No, I like that, especially the Metcalf pick.
Yeah, yeah.
I just think, since we haven't had a preseason like this year, it's going to be really like finding those guys who are kind of like on the bubble that, I think are going to, have, some big season or like their breakout. And I think he's one of those type of receivers, somebody like him or a Cortland Sutton or these, receivers that are early in their career showing a lot of promise. I would definitely, say
Okay.
he's, somebody, you want to start and take a chance on. And I kind of look at the rest of their team and just, obviously Russell Wilson, spreading the ball around. I actually think Metcalf in this game, I think he's going to be better, than Lockett. I just think
Okay.
it's going to
Okay.
be one of those like strange. I don't think that's going to be the case the entire season,
Right.
but I don't know. I just think this game sets up, well for him because
I could see that.
I don't see them like coming out and taking like those big swings necessarily where, like Lockett, a lot of times, he beats guys like on those deep routes. And I just don't know that the timing and everything is going to be there for those
Yeah.
kind of plays. I think it more sets up for like a possession and a bigger type guy to have an impact.
Okay.
As
It's
far as
funny
this
you
year
say
goes.
that because I actually feel the opposite way.
Okay.
And the reason why I feel that is because we didn't get a preseason.
Mm.
So I feel like we're gonna see some stuff. We're gonna see like some, and I mean this throughout the whole entire week. I think we're gonna see some big plays this week. I
Mm.
think a few people are gonna be, on defense, not quite where they are, where they need to be. And if you've been practicing and everything like that, the offenses they kind of know what they're gonna do. So I could see some trick plays. There's a game that I will be talking about later on, in which I think we'll be seeing quite a few of.
Mm-hmm.
And I could just see a few big plays. So I actually do. I mean, I like both of them. I actually like everybody that you would typically start. Everybody who you drafted to start for this game, I'm starting them, including Todd Gurley.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Will Fuller effect. Play him while you can because I don't know what it's going to be like towards the end of the season. So get your money's worth with Todd Gurley.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And shout out to the Atlanta kicker. I
Yes.
think
What's his name?
ATL Ho. I'm sorry, Young Way.
Yeah, Young Way.
Is going to be a solid kicker if you don't have a kicker and you just kind of ended the draft not really knowing what to do at kicker this week, or you're gonna like just pick people up if he's out there. I think he'll have a solid season. He's like deathly accurate. I like that guy. So
Okay, I'm not mad at the kicker analysis, man. I never thought about that.
Often
Like,
overlooked.
I mean, it can be the difference sometimes.
Yeah, you damn right, man. Yeah. So
All right. So next game, looking at the Jets and the Bills. If you it's a lot of people between these two teams that I hope you aren't your rosters aren't filled with, especially on the Jets side of the ball, on offense. PU, just PU, man.
Yeah.
2 letters, PU, and it has nothing to do with Penn State. But they just don't have any weapons that scare me, and I don't even play defensive back. Like there's nothing about the Jets offense, including Le'Veon Bell, that
Especially Le'Veon Bell.
that gives me any pause at all. So I would not feel comfortable starting any of the Jets players, especially against this Buffalo defense. I know I just said that defenses performance from the previous year don't carry over, but they do in this case. The Bills defense may not be at mid-season form week 1, but they're going to be good enough to keep the Jets probably off of the scoreboard for the better part of the first half of this game. So I think Buffalo's going to jump out on top of the Jets quick and early, and it's going to be too much for them to overcome with what they have on offense. But the moving forward, me asterisk that, I do want fantasy owners who are, potential, because it happens every year. There are really, I don't play in the league, but I play in the fantasy league. There are about 5 good tight ends in the league. Everybody else is just kind of like, you need a tight end. Emerging this year, I think there are going to be 3 or 4, most years, 3 or 4 guys that pop out. I think Herndon in New York is going to be one of those players. He had an injury that took him out most of his rookie campaign. But I think this year coming up, this season, he's going to be a lot better because there's really not a lot cooking in New York as they basically rebuilt the Redskins on wide receiver. But I
the
think Chris
Washington
Herndon,
football team.
I'm sorry. Ooh, yes, the Washington football team that plays in Washington and play football. Yeah, not to be overly redundant, but yeah.
Right.
I like him. Maybe not this week, but moving forward, Chris Herndon should have a breakout. I'm looking for him to have a breakout season because there's just not a lot going on there.
I like that pick.
Darnold's going to be under duress the whole season because there's no one to throw to.
I drafted Herndon in a couple of leagues, actually. Okay. So I'm expecting big things from him. One thing I do want to say with the Jets is Adam Gase, he is trash. He might get fired before the season is over.
Right.
One thing I've noticed with Adam Gase is in his time in Miami and his time with the Jets is there's like no deep threat whatsoever. He likes to limit the time of good running backs like Kenyon Drake when he was with Miami, and now Le'Veon Bell. And he doesn't like to throw that. He doesn't like to throw it too deep. We all saw Jarvis Landry under Adam Gase. It was just he would just get 10 catches for 85 yards and maybe a touchdown. I could see Chris Herndon being that playing in a similar role as that this year.
He didn't know what to do with Robbie Anderson. I'm glad he's out of there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you guys. And one thing I do want to add for the Buffalo Bills, if you guys play or you know anybody who plays in a keeper league or just kind of looking for maybe somebody to monitor, I like their rookie, Zach Moss, who plays running back. My only worry is, of course, they have Singletary there already. But I think Moss is one of those guys, if you're trying to stash somebody, in a keeper league, or, if they, find a little niche for him, maybe, he can be a flex for you, like in a deeper league. So that's just one player I drafted personally in a few of my leagues and somebody I'm going to keep an eye on, I guess, for the rest of the season.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. Moving on, we got the Bears against the Lions. Oh, my. I want the Bears defense to return to form like when Khalil Mack first came over. I'm not sure if that was just a little shot in the arm and, that's kind of worn off now or the league caught up with what they were doing defensively. Obviously, you're going to start your starters, Galladay. I like Allen Robinson in this game as well and for the season. I know Trubisky scares a lot of people for week in and week out, but I do like Robinson. So if you have him and 2 other good wide receivers, I think he'll be fine in this game to start. Looking forward again, there are 2 positions I keep finding a recurring theme in is in tight end, man. Like so many tight ends got hurt. And last year, one rookie tight end there, TJ Hawkinson, had a ton of promise after being drafted so early, also was injured. But I think he's going to be somebody to keep an eye on. Probably is still available in a lot of leagues just based off of the fact if people weren't really paying attention and just looked at just output and production, that it was down. But this guy has a ton of and without a lot cooking, there, I think he's going to have a good season if he can, come back from injury.
Yeah, that sounds good. What do you think about the running back situation in Detroit?
Man, it's a lot of balls. It's a lot of balls to try to divide up there. They have a bevy. They are playing with house money, but I think it's too much of a good thing.
Right.
I think if they're smart and played Belichick ball, where you didn't know who was going to kill you week to week, play to play, that would be one thing. But I don't see. Well, I don't know.
Well, Matt
But
Patricia
I was about to
is
say he
a
is comes from the
Belichick
Belichick
disciple.
tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, he comes from the Belichick tree. But so far they didn't do it. Now maybe last year everybody wasn't at full strength. Johnson missed time. But I really don't see the point of having, it's different to have a former starter, but they have two bona fide starters right now. And then you bring in a guy that rushed for over 1,000 yards in Adrian Peterson as well, who, for all intents and purposes, could have been a starter in this league one more year. I mean, he definitely was better than what Atlanta Falcons had at running back last year. But, it's just – it's a lot of people who would want and also need reps as well. They don't have the type of skill set to 8 carries, 120 yards. It's more 15, 20 carries,
Right.
type of running backs, all three of them. So that is going to be interesting to see how they use them.
Yeah, I'm staying away from the Lions running back committee at least for this week. Just to see exactly what they're trying to do. I know Swift is, has a couple of like little nagging injuries. No surprise, the UGA running back is already nicked up.
Yeah.
Sense a little shade there.
I'm avoiding them. I think the only person I'm starting in this game in Detroit is Matthew Stafford and actually, I'll start Kenny Galladay, and I could start Marvin in the flex maybe. That's a strong maybe, and I say Allen Robinson on the other side,
right?
And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, I think best case scenario, kind of like you guys have been alluding to with the Lions. I think best case scenario there. Running back situation at its best would be maybe something like the Eagles were last year, where they did find some success, but just from a fantasy perspective, you're not really going to know from game to game who it's going to be. So I think there is maybe a little bit of promise. I just like Matt Patricia. I don't know how maybe it's I just don't like him. I don't know. I don't have much confidence in him. Just especially the way I've seen their teams unfold. But I'm definitely interested to see what Swift can do. I think he's got some skill. It's just
absolutely
can they use him the way he's supposed to in Detroit? I don't know. Just
right. It's a lot. It's a lot of good talent back there, man.
Absolutely,
they're stacked like a college team or something.
Right.
Like all right. like UGA. All right, Green Bay, Minnesota. This is definitely a game where, you're starting all the people that you should start. Don't get cute week one. Don't do anything cute. Start all the people that you should. I don't really have anybody that would be on a bubble. Maybe Kyle Rudolph. If he's I wouldn't play him over a higher tiered tight end if you have one. If you stacked up. But other than that, I mean, I don't really have anybody that's, Thielen should finally, blossom. Ben, he's the guy now. But I mean, I don't see maybe Scantling,
MVS.
There's been some chatter coming out of camp that Aaron Rodgers is really high on him this year. But, come on, man. It is Adams' game and Jones, Jones and Adams. Yeah. I mean, outside of that, you getting cute now because you
Yeah,
just never know
exactly.
where they're gonna go with it. Lazard even, or
Right.
Lazard, whatever. I wouldn't get cute with this game.
Right. Yeah, I feel you too. I feel the same way. Like, you know, Lazard, MVS. I'm not taking my chances. We're what, year number 3 with these guys, and I still don't know who the number 2 wide
Right.
receiver is, and I don't know if we're gonna find out this year.
I don't think they care to have a bona fide number 2. I think
I
they
don't
like
think
the
they care
committee.
either. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, because Aaron Rodgers, he kind of likes his guys. You know what I mean? Like obviously Devontae Adams is his guy,
Right.
but I think he'd like another guy.
It
But
rotates in so many wide receivers year in and year out, man. It's ridiculous.
but they don't draft them. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not getting cute with this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? E? You getting cute, man? You getting cute
Nah,
with this game?
I would say my only thing, obviously Adams, Jones, I'm starting them. I guess the only person who I'm actually a little on the fence about is Rodgers this year. I think he's lost maybe about a half a step. I just don't think he's the same player.
Are you cute enough to sit him if you have another quarterback? Let's say you got Cam Newton on the back end. Are you sitting Rodgers?
Not Cam Newton, but I might take a chance on maybe I think I might give Matt Ryan a shot over him.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah.
This week. Somebody like that.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I don't think he's that same guy anymore, but.
You know what? You know what?
Yeah.
Let's play a name game right now.
Name game?
Yeah, let's play a name game with Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
I'm going to name some other quarterbacks, and y'all tell me, would y'all start Aaron Rodgers or that other quarterback?
Let's go.
Right. Matthew Stafford.
Rodgers.
This week, Stafford.
I'm going with Stafford, too. Phillip Rivers against Jacksonville.
I'm actually going Rivers.
I'd go Rodgers. I'd still go. I don't know. Phillip is kind of he could be all over the place.
I'm gonna give the slight edge to Rodgers, and I'll tell you.
He could throw 3 touchdowns or 3 picks. So I mean, it's just which one we're gonna get. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Rodgers or Jared Goff.
Rodgers.
Yeah.
Rodgers.
No.
Yeah, I already know. Okay, last one. Rodgers or Ben Roethlisberger?
Big Ben.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ben.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go Rodgers. I'm gonna go Rodgers.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, so we did a little name game. Any other takes from this game here?
Nah.
Okay.
This one isn't one to be cute about. The next one I'm excited about actually is the the Miami and the Pats.
Oh,
so I don't think Miami's gonna need laterals to win this game. They may actually win. No, I'm joking. I think the Pats are gonna run away with this game. I don't know what Miami has decided to do with their football team. I don't. Maybe they're tanking for Trevor.
You think so? I think
I
they
don't like the
better.
but they couldn't get worse, right? I don't. They gave away everything. Like I don't think Miami is. When Tom Brady left New England, basically it was supposed to be open for everybody. Like
Right.
okay, well, anybody can win now. Obviously Buffalo was out front. Since they won double-digit games last year, but had Miami kind of knew what they were doing with their personnel, they could have been building upon something. I don't know what Miami is as a team, but I do know what I see and have heard from Cam Newton, and that's who I would start. I would not sit him in this game. I think even has Belichick even really named him the starter? I would still start him if he hasn't, because he's definitely going to play in this game. So don't get cute. Don't be scared. Play Cam Newton in this game. I'm a Cam owner. Got him on the back end, and I'm really shaking the dice, hoping that he turns his season into something special.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see in the long run. I think this will be one of those things where he'll catch lightning for a couple of games, and it could take you over the top to win. But then I think the attrition at wide receiver is going to catch up with them because they just don't. You got Edelman, which is a staple, but I mean he's not the youngest as it used to be.
Getting up there.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I think that's going to catch up with the Pats, but I don't like anything Miami's really doing other than my guy. Skip, let me tell you something. Okay, my guy Preston Williams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My guy. The feel good story of the NFL. My man was undrafted, made his way on the team, and is now pushing for the X receiver position. This week, I don't know if he's gonna ball out, but this season, Williams is gonna get his.
Okay.
But if you were lucky enough to get him, I would sit him this week. Matter of fact, you know what? I would play him. I'm playing Preston Williams this week.
Okay.
Start him.
I'm not mad at that.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that at all. I would start Preston Williams as well. I think, Belichick, he usually tries to eliminate your number one target, which would still be Devontae Parker.
Correct.
At the moment. And so I think it's going to be a tough game for him. I think Gilmore will be all over him. And I do think Preston Williams. I wouldn't be mad at starting Mike Gesicki either. It depends on where you are as far as tight ends.
Right.
I'd rather start him over Kyle Rudolph type of guy. I think
he
has more of an upside. I still don't know about the running back situation in Miami with Jordan Howard and Matt Breida.
They don't either.
Yeah, they might not. But I think one of them might have a good game. I just don't know which one it is. I do believe the Patriots can be run on. Of course, I'm only going by last year. So I do believe one of them actually has a decent game. I just don't know which one it is, and I'm not taking a chance. If you are in a pickle and you want me to say somebody, I'll just say Jordan Howard. Yeah.
I agree. Who's their quarterback, by the way, this year? I'll be honest, I have no idea what's going on with there.
Fitzpatrick for now.
Oh, Jesus.
For now.
Until Tua.
He usually starts off with a bang, so I would definitely say you might as well roll with both of their receivers. I'm thinking like what he did. I think it was last year with Tampa, like when he just comes out firing. So I think if there's any time, I wouldn't say I wouldn't play him, but I think his receivers are going to benefit because he's not afraid to take shots. So I think this is the week. Yeah, I would roll with their receivers and feel pretty good about it.
They'll bench him for no reason.
The week. I don't know
exactly.
if this is the week, but this is a week.
He's definitely going to lose that starting job this season.
Yeah, for sure. It's coming.
And it may not be related to anything he does on the field.
That's true.
They just, they don't know what they're doing. Right? They're going to throw Tua out there regardless.
One more thing I want to state is that I would start James White. I do believe their running back situation, as usual, is a little messy. Damian Harris is going to miss the first 3 or 4 weeks. I do like Damian Harris. I think he's a good stash. I'm done with Sony Michel.
I was about to ask you, man.
I'm done with them. Nope.
Is there any possibility? Now I'm gonna get cute real quick. Let me get cute. That you start Izzo at tight end in New England in the event that they're trying to recapture the Gronk magic with Cam?
Yeah, I don't know enough about him to say that. I mean, the good thing is Cam has experience throwing to tight end with
Yeah.
Greg Olsen, so it's a possibility. He's also got experience throwing the slow wide receivers with Kelvin Benjamin, so N'Keal Harry might actually have a okay
Yeah.
season, but right now I'm not starting any of those receivers outside of possibly Edelman, and I don't even feel good about Edelman, to be honest with you, at this moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Fair enough.
All right. Who's up? Who's next?
I think we got Philadelphia and Washington coming up next.
All right.
And I will tell you, so this game right here, I think for me, like who I would definitely start is Miles Sanders. No more Jordan Howard. He's gone. And I think Miles Sanders caught about 50 passes out of the backfield last year. So I really like him to be a big focal point of their offense this year. Obviously, Zach Ertz, you're going to play him. And for me, I would actually sit their receivers this week. I think Washington is just one of those teams. They're not very good. I don't think they can really cover anybody. So I'm predicting, I think Wentz is going to throw the ball all over the place. This is like one of those games where like 7 or 8 people are going to catch the ball and they're all going to do their thing. So I think just from that standpoint, I wouldn't start any of the Philadelphia receivers this week. And it was a mess with them last year, just with the injuries. So I think I'm still scarred from that. And then kind of just switching to the other side for Washington. I'm a huge Terry McLaurin fan, which as a Michigan grad, it's not easy to say that because he tore my team up along with his teammates. So I just think he's going to be a star. I think he's got really good potential. I just don't like who's throwing the ball to him at this moment right now, but just the fact that I think he had almost 1,000 yards last year. He only played 14 games and he had 7 touchdowns. I just really like him to do his thing. And I think they're going to be losing a lot of games this year. So they're going to have to throw the ball a lot. So I'm really high on him. He's actually a flex, I think, in 2 of my leagues. So I'm banking on him to be good big time. I just need him to stay healthy because I think he got a little banged up towards the end of last year. So that's, this game, those are really some of the players that I'm looking at for this one in particular.
Okay. Yeah. So interesting facts. Deshaun Jackson goes ham every week 1 that he plays.
Gotcha.
Every week 1 that he plays, he puts up numbers like 120 yards, 2 touchdowns, 150, 2 touchdowns. Week 1 is his week. So Deshaun Jackson, I'm putting the stamp on it. He's my start of the week. I just made that up. The start of the week. I just made that up, guys. We're doing a thing now. So Deshaun Jackson, he's gonna kill him. And like you said, Miles Sanders, Carson Wentz. I'm not starting any other Philadelphia receiver other than obviously the tight end Ertz. Just because I don't even know who's available for the game. Alshon Jeffrey is always a question. Rager is a question mark as well already. So yeah, it's Deshaun Jackson for me.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have anybody to add to this list. Again, Ertz is all I'm going with in Philadelphia. Deshaun Jackson, that's an interesting fact, man. That's interesting. I mean, I don't know if it's enough for me to start him, but it's definitely interesting.
I'm starting him. And another
while
thing,
getting is good.
And another thing I want to say too is that I am avoiding the Redskins.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me, the Washington football teams.
Oh, I thought you said something. Okay.
No, never. The Washington football team. I am avoiding their backfield.
Man, it's brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal. I don't know what's going on. I do think eventually Antonio Gibson will emerge as the guy for them. and I do believe he brings a lot of versatility, especially catching out of the backfield. And again, like you said, EJ, they will be losing a lot of games, so I think he'll be useful there. He might be useful in this game, but I'm not willing to chance it.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Well, no, next we got my Las Vegas Raiders and Carolina.
Raiders.
Yes, and I will say I'm hoping we can get it together this year. Still not feeling good about Derek Carr, so I'm definitely sitting him. I don't know. Ever since he had that injury, he doesn't seem to be the same player, but I think he's going to spread the ball around enough. So as far as your starters, I'm really only comfortable with Jacobs and Darren Waller.
Okay.
I know what I'm going to get from them. You know, Jacobs is going to be our workhorse. I think he's going to kill it again like he did last year. And Darren Waller, I think, almost caught like 100 passes last year as a tight end. So I think he's going to have another huge year. He's our best receiver, and I don't think Tyrell Williams is going to play this week.
He's out for the season.
Oh, he's out for the whole season, yeah. So with him not playing, I like Renfro, I like Ruggs, but I just don't know what their role in our offense is going to look like yet. So I'm not really too big on playing them yet. So right now, those are really my only two on the Raiders that I would start. As far as Carolina goes, I think you're going to have some options this week. It hurts to say this because the Raiders are my team, but our pass defense is awful.
Yeah.
So I think if something crazy happened in your draft and, you have Bridgewater, I think you could play Bridgewater this week.
Man, why you got to disrespect the brother like that?
If something like completely went terrible with your draft.
Yeah. Sorry, Teddy. I don't mean to. I saw what you did last year in New Orleans, but nah, I think he's gonna I think he's gonna light us up. To be honest, I think DJ Moore is gonna go off, and if you're desperate, I think you could even put Curtis Samuel out there and still probably get some points because
I'm with you on that.
We can't cover anybody. I watched it last year. There were no-name guys, running right up the middle, and especially with no preseason, I don't think we're going to look good at all in our pass defense. So I'm expecting us to give up some big plays in the air, which it's unfortunate, but it's probably going to happen. So, and then of course, McCaffrey, I'm sure he's going to light us up too. I mean, I still think he's the best player to have overall in fantasy. So looking for him to have another, really good year as well.
Mm-hmm. What you think, T. Campbell? Who you got in this game?
It's sad to say even though he's a Raiders fan, I'm not touching any of the Raiders.
Oh, damn, none of them?
None of
them. Jacobs?
Yeah, nah. I mean, Jacobs. He's the real deal. I just don't know how effective he'll be early on in the season, where I think everybody's defense is going to be shaky. So I think as a whole, the league is going to be up in game points, and that's going to kind of negate some of those teams that are run heavy or really reliant upon the run to set up the pass. And Jacob, he's a piece. If those young wide receivers emerge, he'll have an even better season, because then defenses can, stack the box against him. But otherwise, if he's the only real threat and those receivers are, slow getting into the groove with Carr, the defense, the league would have caught up with him. I think that's what's going to happen. And it won't necessarily be that he's took a step back in his sophomore campaign, but more an effect of what's happening on the outside.
Okay. I disagree. I think Josh Jacobs, I've drafted him in several leagues. I think he's going to have a great year.
You had him last year too, didn't you?
I did have him last year, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He did good until he got the shoulder injury, mainly from carrying the team.
Pretty much.
But I actually think the Raiders might surprise some folks this year. I do. I think Henry Ruggs, I like the young wide receivers. I like Henry Ruggs, and I like Brian Edwards as well. And I think that Brian Edwards is going to be a little bit of a sleeper, and I wouldn't be surprised if he actually emerges as one of the top rookie wide receivers this year. And I do believe that Waller actually might take a step back because I do believe that they have more weapons this year than they did last year. So, and including Hunter Renfrow as well. I've noticed in games where Renfrow started, Waller, his production took a dip. So, and I could see that happening as well because I think in his great games were games where they really, really relied on him. And I think they'll rely on him less with Henry Ruggs and Brian Edwards. That being said,
that's for you guys to take
I'm not
note
starting
there.
any of them. No,
Right.
but seriously, I don't see a scenario where I would be starting those wide receivers. So I'm just going to say that I'm not going to. But if you are in a scenario where you could be starting Brian Edwards or Henry Ruggs as a flex, I say go for it. I think Carolina, they're rebuilding their defense. Their whole entire draft was dedicated to their defense, which means that they got a lot of young guys who are going to be learning on the job. So I think that their defense is very vulnerable this year, and I think they'll be very exploitable throughout the whole year.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just moving on here. So next game, Indy and Jacksonville. And I will tell y'all on the Colts, I don't think I'm touching anybody on that team this week. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. I need to see how they perform this week. And I'm a huge Marlon Mack fan. I've had him on my team before, but they drafted Taylor, and I just don't know how that's going to affect like his usage. I think you could still play him and still get some good value with him, but I think that's really going to, change, the dynamic of their running game. I just think Jonathan Taylor is going to end up being a better player.
Hell yeah. I have drafted Jonathan Taylor in every single league that I'm in. So I'm all in. I'm all in. Pause.
Yeah. Nah, I think he's gonna
balls deep on that.
Nah, I think he's gonna do damage this year. So for week 1, I just need to see how it all plays out. He is still a rookie, but I think he's one of those guys that eventually he's gonna, carve out a nice niche for him.
He is.
And you don't think there was an upgrade at quarterback this year?
I do believe that there's an upgrade in quarterback. I do believe that Phillip Rivers will do a better job of finding.
Look at EJ.
Man, no, it's
EJ like
Phillip Rivers.
I hear you.
He's killed me before, and I know there'll be some games where he's really on and he's he'll throw 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's killed me before in some crucial regular season fantasy matchups where I really needed him to come through, and he ended up destroying my season. So I think I have just
snake bit.
Yeah.
You wanna talk about a team that's tanking for Trevor. That is the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they're just they're doing what Miami did last year, and they're just unloading talent, and they're just going to be garbage this whole entire year on offense and defense. And I believe the Colts are going to kill them in this game. I am starting Jonathan Taylor, and I'm starting Marlon Mack too. I'm starting both of them because I do believe that they'll have enough of a lead that both of those guys will get a lot of run. And Jonathan Taylor, he's just too dynamic. I could just see him just breaking off a 70-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter of that game and just killing them.
Yeah.
I just see it.
No.
So you think Jacksonville is tanking for Trevor and just gonna part ways with Minshew and just be like, nope.
Yeah, sure. If you have the choice between if you have those two choices, I'm going every time. You know what I mean? So hey, yeah, I'm.
I think Jacksonville. There's a name in Jacksonville that I'm watching. Um, in running back in James Robinson,
Okay.
the rookie.
Yeah.
And the reason why going into the offseason, no one saw what Jacksonville did coming.
Right.
You know, you thought, okay, look, this was definitely a prove it year for Fournette. Like, look, you got to prove that you can stay healthy. And if you can do that, fine. If not, you know, we will do something else. But last year, I mean, this man ran for over 1,000 yards, which, you know, is the benchmark for a good running back. But that's not, everybody didn't do that. And they let this man walk and in favor of a rookie who at the time was 3 on the depth chart. Everybody was looking at Chris Thompson, you know, coming in as possibly the starter. And then all of a sudden, this rookie impressed the coaching staff enough for them to say, you know what, we're going to let go our workhorse running back who ran for over 1,000 yards in favor of this rookie. So I'm really interested to see what he brings to the table this year. I if flex.
No.
I'll put him in at flex if I had him.
No.
I would.
You never
That's my gamble. Look, this is me shaking dice, or
shaking. Hey.
Or you know. Okay, let me do it this way. Like, I'm rolling the dice on Robinson as somebody that you wouldn't have thought to play this week. I would start him at the flex this week.
No.
Yes.
Not
yes.
So let me ask you guys. Do you guys like DJ Chark on Jacksonville? What do you think of him as a receiver this week?
This week.
This week I want him to be fully healthy.
I don't even like him this week, to be honest with you. I think.
No, and just to push back, I think he's gonna be good. And one thing, I was actually just doing some research on this before we all got on. So I looked, and I guess the Colts this year, they picked up Xavier Rhodes. So I know they lost somebody in their secondary who they were really high on.
Right.
But I think if there's a week where, you know, somebody might be able to get him, I would say I think DJ Chark can get him, because Xavier Rhodes is not the player that he used to be. I was doing some research into this, and he actually got exposed a few times last year. I think he's allowing like a catch rate of like 76%. And when people are targeting him, I believe the quarterback's like average rating is over 100, like when he's the targeted corner. So I think if there's a week where he can get got, I think it's this one. I just don't think he's that good anymore.
I think he's going to get got on several weeks, but I don't think he's the number one cornerback, to be honest with you. I don't think they brought him there to be the guy. Yeah. And I don't think he's going to be on DJ Chark, to be honest with you. And I think Chark is, I think if you drafted him, you probably are going to start him.
Yeah, I think you got to play him.
Yeah, I have him and I'm starting him.
Yeah.
I just need him to be healthy, you know.
Yeah.
These questionable this week, you know, it's like, man, without a preseason, a lot of these guys hadn't yet, and it's going to be a bloodbath week too. It's going to be everybody's thinking to be questionable.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
By the way, I would start Chris Thompson in this game in the flex, by the way, especially in a PPR league. I do believe that Jacksonville will be down. They'll be down early, and they will be playing catch up. And I think the Colts defense is tough enough that I could see Minshew dropping the ball off a lot to Chris Thompson, who is reunited with Jay Gruden, who loves Chris Thompson. So I could totally see Chris Thompson. And I don't think he's going to have like this unbelievable game, but in DFS, if you're looking for somebody cheap, I wouldn't mind picking him up in DFS.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, no, next game I got Cleveland and Baltimore. And I'm going to start with Odell really quickly.
You
he's
think
had
you shit on him? You shitting on
he's had quite a week or quite an off season. I gotta sit him, to be honest. Like Odell, I think he'll get it right one day. I just honestly don't think this is the team for him. I think I don't know if Cleveland is necessarily the best fit, and I just don't like him against Baltimore.
I agree. Yes.
If I did have to start anybody this week, I mean, I think Nick Chubb, that's about as good as you'll get, on
What
Cleveland.
about Kareem Hunt?
Kareem Hunt?
Yeah.
I think maybe like on a flyer, just if you want to kind of see what's happening. I don't know. I think Chubb he to me is like really the only like safe bet, on their team. That's the only person I would even remotely mess with on Cleveland this week. And I think if you got Baltimore, in this game, I think you got a ton of options, Obviously Lamar, I would start Hollywood Brown. I would roll with Andrews too. I think with Baltimore, you got a lot of choices in this game. And I think if I had to pick a player who I think is going to have the biggest week one, I think it's going to be Lamar. I think, because people have been, talking about how he's performed in the playoffs, the 2 games that he's had where he didn't play his best. I think he's going to come out there and I think he's going to run all over them. And he'll probably – I'm thinking at the minimum he has 3 touchdowns. He's going to throw for 2 and at least run one in, and I wouldn't be surprised if he had more this week.
I think he gets 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think I don't believe in Cleveland's defense. So I think if you got a player on Baltimore's offense, I would say, kind of let it go. I'm interested to see what they do with their running backs this year because I think they have Dobbins, and I kind of want to see what he's able to do. I just really like their team in this game, and I think you got a lot of options if you're rolling with that.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, they keep playing around with Dobbins, man. Like just a few days ago, he was like buried, like fourth on the depth chart. Now we're getting close to kickoff. It's like he's 1B.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't start him this week, but I definitely keep my eye on him. I agree with everything you said with the Ravens, EJ. Except for Cleveland, I would start Kareem Hunt because it's kind of like the Chris Thompson thing, except obviously Kareem Hunt is a much better running back than Chris Thompson. And they will be kind of dumping off a lot of passes to him, especially in PPR. I could see I'm starting him in the flex. So, and of course Nick Chubb. So, but yeah, I'm not feeling the receivers. I know somebody's got to catch the ball in this game at some point.
No love for Austin Hooper, guys?
Austin Hooper might do all right. He might do all right.
The know-it-all gurus, they're not liking him. I haven't seen. I mean, he's not projected to have a good season, let alone a good week. But I think as long as Landry's gimpy and out, I think he's going to be a great valve. He can catch.
Right.
It'll just be a matter of if Baker can get him the ball with before while he's under duress, and I think he'll have a lot of garbage yards.
Yeah, I agree.
Where they're like it's like, look, we just got to try to keep moving the ball. It's not really turning anything. I definitely echo that. I don't like Odell as the only guy there. He benefits by having Landry. Without Landry there, if he's misses it much more time, I don't like Odell as the only guy. He can be shut down.
Yeah, especially against Baltimore. They've still got a tough defense, and I just don't like this game for him at all. Yeah. So
Perfect.
All right. So what we got next? Chargers and the Bengals.
Yes. This was the last game I had. So I think Chargers, obviously Eckler, you got to let him go. I drafted him and I got really high hopes for him this year. So I need him to do damage. And I think, he's going to, really cement himself, in the role that he has. I think it's definitely his time to shine. Other than that, though, I'm not too high on really anybody else on their team. Although I think if you need a tight end this week, I would be comfortable going with Hunter Henry. I think when you have a new quarterback, you need a good safety valve, and I think he's pretty good. I don't know. I used him a few times last year.
You have something to say.
Nah, I will tell you this. So last year, I played a lot with two tight ends. I used Waller and him kind of in the back end when Hunter Henry came back, and he didn't do all that bad. So I'm a fan of Hunter Henry. I don't know, when I watch him run, I'm just a little worried. I don't know, he plays a little bit faster than like he looks, and he's like a pretty big guy. But I don't know. I just think he's a good safety valve, especially with the new quarterback. I see him, playing really well, and I don't really know if Keenan Allen is really gonna, in this game in particular, gonna, kind of
be weighted down by that money. Just
yeah. I don't know. Not that he won't, live up to those expectations in a few games. It's just, I don't know. Some games last year he was really good. Like he really set the tone. And then there were a few other games where he kind of, disappeared down the stretch. So I feel pretty good about Eckler. I think you can use Hunter Henry, as a tight end if you didn't end up with any of the elite ones. Other than that, of course, if you have Allen, you probably got to play him anyway. So you got to roll with him too. But I like Eckler and Henry the most for the Chargers. And on the Bengals, it's pretty bleak. I'm not going to lie. I think –
Man, you crazy, man. Crazy this week, man. Go ahead. Go on.
I'm going to say, of course, you got Mixon, who I would play for sure. Tyler Boyd, yeah, of course, I'm going to play him as well. But for me, those are really the only guys. Cincinnati, until they turn the corner as a team, I'm not too big on their team. That's just my opinion, but I'd love to hear what you have to say about them.
Oh man, I'm all in on Cincinnati this year. Not in this game in particular. I do think the Chargers, even though they do have some injuries on defense, I do think that they'll be able to create enough pressure from their defensive line to really frustrate Joe Burrow this week, a rookie in his first NFL game. But I love Joe Mixon in this game. I like Tyler Boyd in this game, and I kind of agree with you as far as this game. I did kind of overreact until you kind of named the players, and I was like, yeah, that's really about it that I got for this week too. I don't know if I want to take a chance on AJ Green because I don't know if he's really healthy, but I do believe that this year, that Tyler Boyd and Mixon are going to have great years, and I do believe that at least one more receiver will too. Will it be AJ Green? I don't know. I don't know if he'll stay healthy. But if he doesn't, I feel like somebody else will emerge as well. I do. I really do.
Now, for me being a Georgia boy, I've had the benefit of seeing Joe Burrow several times throughout his career playing in the SEC. This guy can play flat out, okay? He can flat out play, all right? So the Bengals have a quarterback that can create his own offense off the dribble, okay? Okay, this guy can take you left. He can take you right. He can pull up a J 85 feet out, okay? Joe Burrow is going to make things interesting in Cincinnati.
I agree.
He for those who you refuse to believe SEC's dominance and, turn from all SEC play over the years and it's like, it's overhyped, blah, blah, blah. This guy is good, man.
Good.
Really, really good. And he can throw really accurately on the run. And he probably will be on the run a lot. But he keeps his head looking downfield, and he will get the ball to people. Like Steve said, it's gonna be a third or a second option at wide receiver, or third option on the team, second option at wide receiver that emerges. It's like, who's this guy? Showing up on the fantasy radar is because Burrow scrambled out. Boom, here's 30 yards. Boom, 20 yards.
Yep.
I like Joe Burrow, man, and I think he's going to make things interesting in Cincinnati.
I do too, man. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan, and I'm actually
spread
excited
through my dogs like.
Yeah. Man, I mean, I hate to make the comparison, with this guy being a rookie, but it was kind of like watching Peyton Manning. You know what I mean? Like, you just getting torn up at every angle.
That's good, man.
Anyway, so y'all are done with this game?
Just one last thing. Do you and it's going back to AJ Green. Do you guys ever think he'll ever be, I mean, forget fantasy relevant, like, do you think like he'll ever, or do you think it's over for him after? I think after this year, I don't know if he's gonna play again.
Well, they've been trying to move him for the last year.
They have been, yeah.
And so nobody wants him. I mean, and especially not with the price tag that comes with him.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're stuck with him, and they're going to eventually have to move on because he can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
And it's just sad, but career cut short, but
Yep.
Or no potential never realized because of injury.
Fast forward to week 17. AJ Green, comeback player of the year.
It's like, man, T. Campbell said he was trash.
I just want to give everybody viewing a disclaimer that some of these takes that we are going to look real stupid on.
Mm-hmm.
At the
Joe Burrow's bench, week 3. Yeah, he was real good in college, though.
Yeah. Oh, man, yeah. So, all right, so moving on to one of the bigger games, one of the most exciting games of this week, probably the second highest as far as like overall score next to Kansas City and Houston. We got the Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, baby.
I actually was going to have Mike Evans as a sit because
you're trying to be cute.
No, I'm not. Because Marshawn Lattimore always has his number, and he can never shake that dude. Every time they play against each other, I think with the exception of one game, Evans had a really good game. But for the most part, Evans puts up stinkers against Marshawn Lattimore. But he will be out because he has a hamstring issue. And it sounds like he's going to be out. He sounds doubtful. So I'm not going to talk about him because I think he's out. But if he does play, I'm sitting him. I am starting Chris Godwin. I did draft him in a couple of leagues. He is still my boy. I do believe that it's I think both Tom Brady and Bruce Arians win is a win for Chris Godwin just because he typically plays in kind of that slot role. And he does run precise routes. And that works. That's what Brady's all about. And we all know that Bruce Arians loves to showcase those type of wide receivers, as evidenced by Larry Fitzgerald. I am not starting the running backs for Tampa Bay because I don't know what they're going to do. If I had to start one, I wouldn't start any. I would bench. I just can't do it. I cannot do it because I just don't know what they're going to do. Bruce Arians says Fournette will have a solid role. I don't know what that means. Yeah. He keeps saying that Ronald Jones is the guy, but they keep making moves. They drafted the guy. They brought in LaShawn McCoy, and now they're bringing in Fournette. He's not the guy.
Yeah.
So
He's a guy for sure.
he's a guy. He's a guy. So really, as far as Tampa Bay goes, the only people I'm starting are Brady and Chris Godwin. I don't know what they do with tight end. They'll probably run two tight end sets with Evans possibly being out. So,
Man.
but I'm not messing with either one of them.
They are the Patriots of the South.
Already,
Like legit. Like
just like that.
I promise you, they will be the ire of fantasy owners all season long outside of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Because from week to week, you're gonna be like, what? Like, where did this come from? No, of course you throw this guy 10 times this week when and it's gonna work, and it's gonna make fantasy owners mad.
Yep. I can see that. I can totally see that.
Yeah.
On the Saints side, I think I'm starting everybody on the Saints side. I would start Kamara. I would even, I've seen a couple of teams who their running back situation doesn't look that great. I would start Latavius Murray too. And I would also obviously start Michael Thomas. Emmanuel Sanders, I still don't know. I think he'll have a good year, but I don't know about this game. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a Sanders owner. What you thinking about the Saints at tight end? You gonna start the tight end?
Jerry Cook. Yeah,
it's a lot. It's a lot of ways to kill you in New Orleans, man.
It really is, and I think Cook is one of those ways. A lot of people are down on him this year because of Emmanuel Sanders. But
I think that, man, certain coaches.
I think that'll help.
I agree.
Certain coaches, you can count them out if you want to. Yeah. But he's one of those coaches that, like, he get real cute.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, the daggone water boy is in, lining up.
Remember what we were saying earlier about the first week with this being no preseason, and you'll see some.
I knew that's what you was talking about.
That's what I was talking about.
I knew that's what you was talking about.
Yep. Be prepared to see some Taysom.
Yep.
By the way, he is a tight end. He's listed as a tight end in fantasy.
Now, do you think they're gonna get super cute and
they're gonna get all dolled up.
Give you some.
They're gonna get their nails did, eyelashes. They doing all of that.
You think they're gonna give you some Jameis? Jameis?
They actually might throw him in there, and they're going against Tampa Bay too.
Yeah,
so they might.
Yeah, that would be really cute.
I could see that. I could see some play at the end of the second quarter.
Jameis in at tight end. Like, look at this foolishness. Like 9'3". Come on, man.
Oh man,
yeah. I can't. That's a game. I can't wait to see that game, man.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a good one for sure.
So let me ask you this real quick. So where are you on Tampa as a team this year? Are they gonna overachieve, or are they gonna come in under your expectations?
I think they're gonna come in under expectations. I don't think they'll overachieve for sure. I think they'll make the playoffs. If you count that as overachieving, I don't, because Tom Brady is on the team and they picked up all these people. So you would expect them to make the playoffs, right? That's your expectations. But
I think they overachieve, bro. Like,
really,
quiet as it's kept. I mean, they had the NFL sack leader, right there, and you getting pressure, and then you have all that on the offense side of the ball.
Don't underestimate that defense. That's a Todd Bowles defense.
Man, just to think we had Todd Bowles.
I still don't. I mean, I think they make the playoffs. I could see them losing in the second round now.
Yeah. All right.
I just think the division's a lot tougher for Brady now. That's my opinion. I mean, it's not that NFC or that AFC East anymore. I mean, Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans, it's a lot tougher than, the Jets, the Bills, who have been down for the most part, and Miami, who struggled for God knows how long. So I don't know. I just think he's going to be in a much tougher division. I still think they're going to have some success, but I think he's going to have his work cut out for them because it's usually a really competitive division. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but I mean, they'll do their thing, but I don't think they're gonna go to the Super Bowl if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, we got the Cardinals and the 49ers. This should be a fun one too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of anxious to see what the Cardinals, what kind of steps they take this year. I have to start Kenyon Drake because he lit the 49ers up last year.
Mm-hmm.
Even when the 49ers, they just looked like nobody could get anything off on them.
Mm-hmm.
Kenyon Drake just tore them up. So
Mm-hmm.
I got to start him. I have to start DeAndre Hopkins. But to be honest with you, the other receivers, I think those are the only people I'm starting other than Kyler Murray. But the other
No
receivers,
Kirk action.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. No Christian Kirk.
no Christian Kirk for me.
Mm.
Sorry. No. 49ers, on the 49ers side, Raheem Mostert, I'm starting him. I don't know about those other two guys at running back, but I'll go with Mostert. And believe it or not, as far as on receiver, I would actually, if I had to take a chance on someone, it would actually be Kendrick Bourne, because I do believe Kendrick Bourne gets a touchdown in this game. I hope they don't bring back Debo Samuels because he is not. He's not ready. He had the Jones fracture, named after Julio Jones, and it's the way it sounds like is they're bringing him back, and we all know that when players have that foot injury, a lot of them tend to injure it again
Mm-hmm.
that next season. So I'm very worried about that, and I feel like they're very desperate at wide receiver. If you were following, they were like bringing in a new wide receiver like every other day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little worried about that with San Fran, but I hope they don't bring back Debo too quickly.
And they will.
Yeah, and he'll get hurt, which is why I did not draft him in any league.
Yes, they will.
What do y'all think?
Yeah, I'm hoping that this game lives. This is another game I had circled like, oh, this is gonna be fun to watch. You know, I want I want Kyler Murray to win, man. I like, you know, shout out to, you know, the vertically challenged guys, whoever they are.
It's me.
Whoever they
Whoever
are.
they are.
It's not my
I
testimony.
feel like you have like a personal connection.
No, I'm not saying it's my testimony or it's not my testimony. I'm just saying, you know, shout out to the little guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like what he was doing. I want them to go ahead and sunset Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want it to get like bad where he's just out there, you know, just out there. You know, yeah. I mean, I want him to either, I want them to go ahead and sit him down, or, you know, like, give him tons of targets. And I know they're not going to do that. So it's like, why are we bringing him back? You know, I don't like that for a guy like that who did things the right way his whole career. I don't like that. But, you know, fortunately, he will retire Cardinal. I hope it's not, you know, on the bench injured. But, you know, San Fran, man, you know, Kittle, they got to watch Kittle. They're you know, he's already kind of had a couple of nicks.
You mean like that?
Yeah, you know, and because they're gonna run him hard. You know, they're gonna lean on him really heavy because, like you said, the carousel at running back, you know, is gonna lend itself for him to be the safety valve. And if he goes out,
yeah,
they're in trouble on offense.
Right. Yeah,
because like Garoppolo's just not that guy to, like I said, create offense off of dribble. You know, he's not that guy. It needs to be exactly like it's drawn up in the playbook, because he can't create space on the defender. Shout out to the NBA for doing this whole shout out to the NBA for doing this whole quarantine thing the right way for their playoffs. Shout out to them.
EJ, you got any takes on this game?
I mean, I pretty much agree with everything y'all said, except I would play Christian Kirk this week. I just think, I know last year Kyler Murray actually had a little bit of success against San Francisco. I think they had like a game against them late in the season, and he played pretty well. I just think, with Hopkins there now also, you got to give him some attention. So I think that's going to open things up for Kirk. He might not have the biggest game week 1, but I wouldn't be surprised if he caught like maybe 4 or 5 passes, but, got you between 60 to 70 yards. Maybe he sneaks into the end zone on one of their lone scores. I don't think they'll win, but I think he could definitely get you like 4 or 5 catches, 60 to 70 yards, and maybe a touchdown, because other people are going to, draw that attention, away from him. So I think he's worth the start.
I'm about to make some noise, y'all. I don't mean that in like some kind of like, hey, I'm about to make some noise.
I'm about to say something really controversial. He's like, nah, okay. I need to check on this pasta.
I know.
Got this orzo going over here right quick.
All right, I'm back. Okay, so moving on, we got the Cowboys and the Rams. Of course, the Sunday night football game has to be the Cowboys. So with this game, who I do not like for this game, and who I don't like at all.
The whole Rams team?
Period. Amari Cooper, I don't like him.
Really?
Never like
really?
Never will like him. Amari
you
Cooper.
Actually are about to make some noise with that.
I know. What do you know? Here I am.
Yeah, I don't know.
So okay. Do you dislike him enough that if you had him, you ain't starting him?
I'm not starting him. Nope. I am not starting.
Against the Rams?
Against the Rams, yes. And I'm going to tell you why. Amari Cooper, every single time he goes against an elite cornerback, he wets the bed and he does nothing. And that's going to happen when he's up against Jalen Ramsey on Sunday night. He will
bracking up the Brinks truck.
Exactly. Yeah, he is going to get shut down. And if you start Amari Cooper, you are going to get 2 to 3 points this week. Who I am starting is Michael Gallup, though. I will start Michael Gallup, and I would actually rather start CeeDee Lamb.
Wow.
Amari Cooper.
No way.
Yes.
And I'm a Lamb owner, but I ain't heard much coming out of Cowboys camp about Lamb's training camp.
I think he'll be all right. I think he'll be all right. Now I'm not saying I would start him, but if I had the choice between him and Amari Cooper
this week,
I would start CeeDee Lamb over Amari Cooper.
Okay.
Absolutely. I am not feeling Amari Cooper at all. For the season, for this game, he is, we never had a chance to do the wide receiver episode, but he was going to be my bust, and I still stick by that. He is my bust at wide receiver for the year. As far as on the other side, I'm rolling with Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods and Tyler Higbee. But that's it. The running back situation, I don't know what they're doing over there. So
they've already committed to a carousel. So
yeah, they've committed to a carousel. So I'm
too sad for any Rams owners. Henderson's already banged up, and then it's gonna be a carousel. So yeah, nah. And Goff.
Yeah. I think Goff actually has a decent season this year. I do. I think they'll figure it out. I think they'll do a lot of 2 tight end sets with Everett and Higbee.
I think they'll have a lot of garbage time.
And a lot of garbage time too. I could see that, but I don't see him like having the year that he had a couple years ago.
With their running back situation, though, they got no choice at this point.
Man, I don't know, man. I'm like I said, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Tyler Higbee, and that's it. There may be a running back who emerges eventually, but
So
like
did the Falcons get sold some fish heads and rice? Shout out to the two live stews that don't exist no more. Did they get sold a bill of goods on Gurley, man? Because it didn't seem like the Rams had like the next guy up ready to go. They just was like, whatever we got is gonna be better than you. So bye.
that's what the Falcons do, though. We're not gonna make this a Falcons podcast, but we know the history of the Falcons with running backs that are over the hill. So even Jackson, you know.
2 yards in the cloud of dust.
Man, but I actually think Gurley will be okay for the first couple weeks before he gets injured. But anybody got any other takes on this game? Y'all sound like y'all would start Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I would start Amari Cooper, man.
Not feeling.
I would.
Not feeling him. All right, he's getting shut down. Putting it out there right now. Don't say I didn't warn you.
Right.
All right. So we got 2 more games left. Monday night doubleheader. The Steelers and the Giants. So I'm all in on the Steelers, and I'm all out on the Giants, with the exception of Saquon, of course.
Yeah.
I could start Golden Tate, maybe. But that's really about it for the Giants. But for the Steelers, I like Connor. I like Ben Roethlisberger. I like
some Juju.
Juju to come
some Juju
back. Maybe even Deontay Johnson as well. So, yeah. So
yeah, I mean, Quad just kept Steelers defense finished in top 10 last year, or just outside. I think they were in top 10, and they definitely didn't start the season out that way. But if there's any building on momentum from one year to the next, this is definitely good ramp up game for them to kind of not have anybody to worry about other than Saquon. Like I said, Tate, maybe. I mean, hopefully you got somebody better than him. Worst case, he's a wide receiver 2 for you. If he's your 1, God bless your season.
Yeah, Daniel Jones, he's a turnover machine. So that offense is Ingram. Is he healthy?
That's a great question for his whole career. Is he healthy?
Yeah,
is he?
He is for now. I actually think Daniel Jones is going to end up having an all right season. I just don't think it'll be for the first couple of games.
Yeah, out of
rough first couple of weeks.
Yeah, this is not a matchup for him that I'm sure this is not what the Giant fans want to see week 1.
No, not to open the season. Not at all. Yeah. And so we got one more game left, and that is the Titans and the Broncos. I got Derrick Henry, AJ Brown. I say that's about it. I'm not feeling frisky enough to start Tannehill.
You're not gonna go. You don't want no Jonnu, man.
Jonnu, yeah, I would start Jonnu actually. I would start Jonnu. Okay. On the Denver side, I don't know if I'm starting anybody on Denver, to be honest with you. I like Cortland Sutton.
That's my boy.
I could see him having a tough game. I know Clowney still has to get adjusted to Tennessee, but if they put him in on select plays on Drew Lock, they could create some pressure and shake things up a little bit. Another guy who I don't like, Melvin Gordon. To me, Melvin Gordon is the Amari Cooper of running backs.
Oh,
I like him. I think he's one of the least efficient running backs throughout his career, and I think he benefited from volume in a good system in San Diego / LA. And I think this year he's just going to be a big disappointment.
I think that not only will he be a disappointment, he's going to mess things up for the rest of the backfield because they're going to be forcing a split time. Things were fine with Lindsey. I don't know what I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Things were fine. And there they go, tinkering, trying to get cute. And you're bringing in a guy that, like you said, needs volume, and you're going to take away from a guy that was already fine. And it's going to mess up because Locke is just not, the type of quarterback that can just overcome the shortcomings of, his skill players. I think that was a terrible idea to sign this guy.
I'm anxious to see what they do overall, though, because I tell you one thing, Locke, I liked Locke in college. I thought he would be a pretty good quarterback as a pro. I didn't see that in the games that he played towards last year in his rookie season. But if he can't get it done with the weapons he has, he is not the guy.
Yeah.
Man.
How you guys feeling about Jerry Jeudy out there and Noah Fant? What do you guys think of them?
I drafted Jeudy in a game. I mean, in a league. I did target him.
Mm-hmm.
He has too much talent that you can't not draft him.
Mm-hmm.
I like Noah Fant as well, but
mm-hmm.
I want to see more from Drew Lock. It's a tough call. This is someone who I would have loved to see in the preseason.
Right.
So.
Yeah, you definitely feel a lot better had you seen, at least 2 games of, some decision making, a jump or either some progression,
Right. Yeah. So, and y'all got any more takes on this game or Tennessee, Denver?
No, I think Tennessee is going to be right back where they left off last year. Going into the season, I think they got better. Especially, I hope Jonnu gets a premier role now without having anybody else to share space with, and I think they'll be right back in the thick of things. This is a good week 1 matchup for them to sharpen the knives, and I think they should be fine against Denver.
I agree.
I have their defense, and I'm hoping I'm hoping this is one of those defenses where I can get some points.
I am really surprised by the amount of people who did not draft the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah,
I was shocked. I was like, there's a couple of leagues I'm in where they're just sitting right there in the free agent pool, and if I didn't have like the Steelers or the 49ers or something, I'd pick them up. But surprisingly, teams are sleeping on them. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that wraps things up for week 1. We will be back with you guys for week 2. We'll do some more frequent and some shorter podcasts throughout, just kind of hitting you guys with the news, people who we want to pick up and drop throughout the week. And until next time, I guess we'll see y'all next week.
All right. Be easy, y'all.
All right. Appreciate y'all.
Peace.